Alright guys, TacticalRabbit here, and today there's some crazy drama to talk about. The roster lock for CWL Las Vegas really did sneak up on me, and it was yesterday, November the 15th, and everyone pretty much thought it was set in stone. All the teams that were going into pools were basically already determined. The ones that would have to fight through the pool play qualifier on the day before Las Vegas, Thursday, December 6th, were also pretty much set in stone. However, yesterday, or maybe the day before by the time you're watching this, there was a crazy bit of drama involving Xotic and Parasite's team. So this is a picture which is just, it's an absolutely historic picture from CWL Birmingham. Unfortunately, I couldn't see this exactly live. I was doing some refereeing over at the Bravo and Charlie stations. This was played on an open bracket stage, and this was between Complexity and Lightning Pandas. There was a bit of drama in this series. I believe on the CTF map it was Ardennes Forest CTF. Parasite's team were up like 3-1 at the half, and with like streaks on bad side as well apparently. And then the host dropped, and then they were forced to do a full replay, and Lightning Pandas wouldn't agree to any kind of agreement where Complexity went into the second half with some sort of advantage, so they just played a full replay. LP ended up winning. This was the team with Xotic, Gunjar, Royalty and Censor at the time, and then as a result Haggy sticks his finger up in Xotic's face, and this is very telling of what ends up happening down the line. History is doomed to repeat itself. So there was a major roster change with the Evil Geniuses squad, and Xotic left the team that he was on, which was Parasite, Panda, GodRx and Theory. They've been scrimming for a number of weeks, and goes to join this Evil Geniuses squad. And okay, this may seem like a relatively minor issue, but it's actually a really big deal, because this gives EG just the right amount of pro points to tip them over to line to get into the pool play qualification. So we'll go over this in the course of this video. Like if you enjoy, subscribe if you are new as always. And then at least Parasite's team out of the pool play spot, so they're going to have to go through a play-in tournament. Obviously the teams they're going to be facing aren't exactly top tier. You would definitely expect them to get through this. Mind Freak, you know, the old Epsilon guys, Tainted Minds, Gone Gaming, kind of mix of European talent. You have the old Allegiance Corps, then you have Space Lee's team as well, which should definitely be expected to do well. And also Quickest team, which has a lot of European talent on there. So if I was to put my money anywhere right now, it'd be on Parasite's team, Space Lee's team, I guess Mind Freak, and probably Team Sween right here, but I definitely think some other teams could compete. The Parasite's team are currently out of the pool play spot, and the roster lock was yesterday, so this is all set in stone now. And Xotic made a last minute switch over to the Evil Geniuses squad. It seems very sketchy indeed. Of course, there are two sides to every story, and that Xotic will probably have his own case to state. But it definitely seems like Xotic knew since a few days prior that he was going to be joining Evil Geniuses. They were looking at dropping Lacefield. You know, EG put out an announcement of this new squad, and they said, you know, we're dropping Lacefield, nothing to do with skill, it was to do with team chemistry. But the way I see it was that EG were performing terribly in the 2Ks. They had the opportunity to potentially pick up Xotic, who played with Gunjar and Royalty last year on Lightning Pandas, as we will go into. And they had the opportunity to get enough pro points to get themselves into the league. Parasite says that this team, and this is what I've heard as well, that they were very close to signing for an organisation. And I believe they still are quite close to signing for an organisation with Lacefield. So I'll put this challenge out to you guys in the comments. I've heard that it's an organisation that hasn't been in Call of Duty for a while. I don't know much more than that. So Parasite said on Twitter it's a top org, whatever that could potentially mean. So I'm guessing an organisation that's been in Call of Duty in the past, relatively big name, but they haven't been around for a while. So I have some guesses down in the comment section below. I was just brainstorming, like it could be Renegades, maybe like an H2K. I don't think it's that big of an org. I doubt like someone like Team Liquid or Cloud9 is going to pick these guys up out of nowhere. Maybe someone like Straight Rippin', I don't know, who were in Infinite Warfare champs. They had Dashi on their team. So who knows? But that's a challenge in the comments below. Who will these guys end up being on an organisation with? And I'll do a video on that when it's announced, because they're definitely a contender for Pro League. I did a video a few weeks ago, whenever the Evil Geniuses roster was announced, and I said it was very underwhelming indeed. Didn't rate these guys at all, and I don't really rate them anymore now. I don't think Felony and Gujar are particularly good. Royalty's very inconsistent. Saints I definitely do rate, but I don't really see any leadership on this squad. And when I was standing, or when I was sitting right next to the Lightning Pandas Pandas team with Xotic, Fellow and Royalty, of Xotic, Goonjar and Royalty at CWL Birmingham when they had Censor on the team, Doug was the one doing all of the talking. He was doing all of the communication, telling everyone where to go. He was definitely the leader of the team. And Saints or Fellow, are they going to fill those shoes? I don't think so. EG definitely in scrims seem like a team with no clear direction, no clear leader, and it's going to be interesting. There's another huge storyline here because Xotic is effectively sketched on his team, pushing these guys out of the pool play spot, and if these guys end up matching up, core fireworks will fly. Parasite tweeted out like that a fire has been fueled that cannot be extinguished, something like that. But we'll go on to his tweets in a second because there's some crazy stuff in there. So let's look at this core here. Goonjar, Royalty and Xotic team up again on the Lightning Panda squad from last year. So this is at Birmingham. Goonjar, Royalty, Xotic 7th, 8th with Censor. Basically did nothing else the entirety of the year. Of course, Royalty's definitely a guy with a lot of talent. Xotic is a pretty consistent player. I'd say he's basically average. I wouldn't put him any higher than that. And Goonjar is definitely a below average assault rifle in my opinion. So I honestly don't think Evil Geniuses get any better at all with this change. Like, Lacefield is arguably better than Xotic, at least on past performances, and especially in tryout games. At least Lacefield's peak performance is definitely better than Xotic's peak performance, I would argue. Of course, with Lacefield going on to a team with Parasite and Theory, you know, there's a lot of egos, I guess, on the team. Like, there's a lot of things for the leader, I guess Parasite or Theory has to think about in terms of controlling these guys. But definitely on paper, there's a lot more firepower, I think, on this team with less pro points than the Evil Geniuses squad. So definitely some fireworks can potentially fly when these guys match up. Parasite was on this squad with Complexity at CWL Birmingham, Study, Felony and Dash It Down. Fellow was on that team as well, and you know, that was where this now infamous picture was taken. He was also given the bird to Goonjar as well over the other side, but I didn't grab that picture for today. This is it's just class, man. It really is. If you guys haven't seen this before, then, you know, you're welcome, I guess. So then towards the end of the season, Parasite was teaming on Ghost Gaming, and the interesting part about the reformation of this roster is that GodRx, Lacefield, Panda, Parasite was the Ghost Gaming team from last season. They ended up having Xotic. I'm not really sure why Xotic got in the mix here. I guess because Xotic and Theory were on the Lightning Panda squad towards the end of the season, so these guys kind of just split 2-2. And also, by the way, for the challenge, I guess, of what organisation could potentially pick up Parasite's team, it's, as far as I'm aware, it's not going to be Lightning Pandas. So Goonjar, Royalty, Xotic, Theory, they split right down the middle. Goonjar and Royalty went to EG, Xotic and Theory went to this Parasite team, which does not yet have an organisation. But Xotic seems to have got an offer from the Evil Geniuses guys. I believe Felony was tweeting something along the lines of, well, like teammates making roster moves behind other teammates' back or something like that. And that kind of implies that maybe Goonjar and Royalty were trying to pick up Xotic without the confirmation of the other guys. And Lacefield ends up getting dropped. This is what happens. It makes sense in that Goon, Royalty and Xotic, the core three from the old Lightning Pandas team. And now Lacefield gets the chance to come back with Parasite, Panda and GodRx that had some reasonable success with the Ghost Gaming squad of last season. They did pretty well online, came top 12 at Champs as a very respectable result, came top 6 at CWL Seattle was, I guess, their highlight. And now they bring Theory into the team, who has kind of been known for being pretty solid at the start of the game. Let's not forget World War II. He won the first 2 events on that Team Caliber squad. You can say he got carried or whatever, but there was definitely an element to which he knew how to play the game better than a lot of the other teams. So that could be a big factor going in. And look at those damn pro points, baby. Those sweet, juicy pro points. And of course, a lot of that was to try and get them into pools. But now without Theory, maybe there's a question of like, damn, you know, do we really need Theory? Maybe there's better options out there, but, you know, no disrespect, he won 2 events, not much more you can say on that issue. So the team's kind of reforming to some extent, and it's interesting to see who will be better down the line. Let's have a look at the 2K results. So this is the first 2K, this is on the 4th of November, the first one I covered at Optic 1 without losing a single map. Parasite's team came at top 16 here, this is with Xotic on the squad. Scroll down a little bit further, we find Evil Geniuses at top 32. Of course, there's only 1 match difference between these, but still you can kind of tell that EG not performing to the same standard. that Parasite's team were at least online. I think the Parasite definitely, for all his faults, he definitely has a leadership capability that helps guys like GodRx and Panna to get their arse into gear and play Call of Duty the right way, that I said in my initial video that evil geniuses will not have. If you want to check out what I thought of that EG roster, basically everything carries over, I believe. Like, I don't think there's much changes taking out Lacefield, bringing in Xotic, apart from maybe slightly better chemistry. But in terms of the leadership directions and the talent on the team, not much has really changed. And definitely the peak of the team seems to have gone down to some extent, with Lacefield having a higher ceiling, I guess. So yeah, this squad ends up placing top 16. Then we have a look to this week's 2K, or, you know, this past weekend's. Once again, they place top 16 with Xotic, of course. A very respectable result in the North American region, given the differences we see in online Call of Duty, you know, like Envoy's team coming top 8 here. This is not something you'd expect to see on LAN. You also wouldn't expect to see Sky's team come, you know, top 4 on LAN as well. So obviously with the, you know, there's a grain of salt to be taken here. But then we scroll a little bit further down and we find EG at top 64. Like, this is when you know, guys, this team is just not working. It's time for a change. So let's have a look through Parasite, a couple of Parasite's tweets. He tweets this out to confirm that he's going to be going back with Lacefield for the new season. And this tweet is, this is the beauty. This is where the title of this video comes from. This is a tweet to Xotic. He says he knew Tuesday, but this was tweeted on the 15th, so this is a Thursday, so he knew for 2 days, but didn't tell his teammates. They were still scrimming with him. I believe they were still playing like tournaments or things with Xotic, just literally hours before he left the squad, even though he knew a couple of days earlier. This is just what it seems from Twitter. I've heard that he just sketched on the team, which, okay, fair enough. As I say, there's two sides to every story, but I'm not hearing many counter-arguments from Xotic. He seems to just be saying, yeah, okay, I sketched on the team, I got an opportunity from a big organisation. You know, you can see it from his perspective. He's teaming with people he's teamed with on the past, had some success with. He's on a big organisation, probably on a relatively good salary as well. But it definitely seems a little bit scummy, right? So this is the tweet to Xotic for Parasite, and I respect Parasite so much for not deleting this, because I'm sure in the moment, like, he was in a crazy shift of emotions, given the roster lock was literally hours away when this was tweeted. But pipe down, you're worthless, you're not a friend of mine, and I honestly hope the rest of your career is plagued with failure. You will never be a champion, you are a coward. Even Nadeshot replies to this: peak competitive Call of Duty has been reached in 2018 because of this tweet. And goddamn, that is a copy pasta for years to come. Look through some of Parasite's other tweets. So right here, this is the first tweet he mentions. How are you going to sketch for a team that has a Quad East host and can't place top 16 in a 2K? Xotic sketched for EG and gave away our pool play spot for a team we are better than. He didn't even tell us until now, and he knew for a few days. Scum. Then he goes on to the big tweet a couple further up, I believe, about the pipe down, you're worthless tweet. So there's a lot of tweets about this here, and as he says, we were meant to be signing with a top org this week, which I believe is still occurring. So, like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this matter. A last-minute roster change situation, just like the transfer window when it comes to a close. Snap your fingers the day of the roster lock for CWL Las Vegas, and because this Parasite team wasn't tied down to an organisation, all of a sudden we have Xotic sketching on the team, and yet it's another huge storyline that we have to talk about going into this upcoming season. So I know where my money is, definitely on Parasite's team to be better than these guys, but we'll have to see how things go down the line, because EG getting that spot in pool play definitely have the advantage, especially almost, I mean, at this point they're guaranteed to get into the Pro League qualification in January. You have to play top 30, you have to place top 32 or something like that to get into the Pro League qualification, and in pools you're guaranteed to place at least like top 20 or top 24 or something like that. So EG will get in. If Parasite's team gets through the play-in tournament, which I believe is like a double elimination situation, then they'll get into that Pro League qualification in January as well. But otherwise we'll have to see how things go. So I'm definitely rating Parasite's team over Evil Genius's one. Be interested to hear your guesses on what organisation could pick these guys up in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll see you next time.